Okay, we got sound. So, we're back. I know we have sound now because I heard it on my cell phone. So I'm going to be doing a restring. On the guitar. And it's a Floyd Rose, so I got to set up the bridge too. So it's a pretty cool guitar, user, if you're still there. It's this is a ESP KH602, and the KH stands for Kirk Hammett, the guitar player from Metallica. This is his signature guitar. It's got the skull and crossbones on the neck for inlays. So basically, I do need my string cutter. My string cutter should be here. Yeah. And basically, the only tools I'm going to be using, I have an Allen key for the lock nuts here and for the string to loosen the strings from this end. Basically, what I'm doing here, people in like music stores charge about $140 to do now. So I do it myself. I got my screwdriver, Phillips screwdriver, so I can adjust the bridge from the back for because I got different strings here. I think these are 10 gauge or 11 gauge strings. I'm going to be putting 9 gauge strings on here. And I got my battery. The battery is so when I lift the bridge, I put it underneath so it stays level. When I change the strings, so that the tension, so it's easier to change the strings. And yeah, let's see. Before I start though, I want to just send this out to my buddy Tom so he can see what's going on. If he's up, he might be sleeping, but that's cool. Just in case he wanted to watch. I know that the notifications don't always go out, so I also want to get something to lift the neck up a little bit to take the stress off the bottom of the headstock. So I'm going to get myself another little towel just to put under the neck. So now it's sitting. It's not sitting on top of it. Actually lift it up a little more. There we go. That gives a little lift. And I got my, I have my triple zero steel wool. I got my new strings. I got my Allen key. I got my string winder, so when I undo the strings, it's easier to take off. I have my lemon oil that I put on the neck after I buff the frets with the triple zero stuff. Oh, I still want to get some paper towels so I can clean the neck. So I'll be right back. We are pretty much ready to go. Got my paper towels here. All right. We are going to get started. It'll probably just take like about an hour. So I'm going to take my time. Like I said, I'm going to buff all the frets out with the steel wool after I get the strings off. And then I'll dress the neck with the lemon oil to give the fretboard a nice treatment. And we're going to start. We'll start. First thing I want to do is unlock the lock nuts for the strings. So we're going to unlock these and take these off. I set them in the same, I put them in the same places too. I don't, mix them up or anything. I make sure I have them set the same way they were put on. Because each one is a little different with the different thickness of the strings. Okay, now we got our lock nut off. Put that down. And now we want to, let me see, I'm going to slide the guitar down this way more so you can actually see what I'm doing. Take my string winder and loosen the strings. This is so much easier than doing it by hand. Oh, first we want to get our battery and put it under the bridge. That will keep our tension. You want to make sure that the bridge is level with the guitar, with the wood. And that's how it's set up. So I put a battery underneath the bridge to keep it level while I take the strings down, because as you loosen the strings, the bridge wants to go down. And we don't want that. So we're going to loosen the strings up. And we're just loosening them up. Okay. So now we got the strings pretty loose. I'm going to start taking the strings out. Now with the Floyd Rose bridge here, you have the strings that are set inside, and you use your Allen key on the back to loosen the string. And then you could take the string out. So we got our first string out. All right. Can you hear me okay? And I take my time doing it. I mean, I just something I enjoy doing. The hardest part of me doing this is getting myself to do it, to motivate myself to do it. And I wasn't going to do it. I was going to be lazy, but I played this last night, and it played amazing. Other than the fact that these strings are too big, they're too thick. Some people like thicker strings, like 10 or 11 gauge strings. I don't. I like a string that's easier to bend. So I get 9 gauge strings, which I have here in a whole new set. All right, we'll take off our second string here. And get an Allen key. Loosen that up, take that out. I know a lot of people do tutorials on this, but they speed up the film, to get rid of some of the lost time of the junky things. But I don't know how to do any of that stuff, so I'm just doing it. Yeah, like I said, this thing played amazing last night, and I knew I was going to have to change the strings. I change the strings on every guitar that I get, so a lot of people always use thicker strings and I don't, so. All right, 3 strings gone. Yeah, I don't even know what kind of strings these are. I mean, it played really great, other than it was just too thick. So I know once I change the strings, I'm gonna be flying across the neck a lot easier. Okay, a little bit of an issue going in here. There we go. That's out. Wrap this sucker up. That's 4 down, 2 to go. I don't like thicker strings because I do a lot of bending and the whammy barring and stuff like that. And when I was bending the strings last night, they're just harder to bend for me. A lot of people like thicker strings because they do a lot of rhythm playing. When you're playing rhythms, you may want to use thicker strings, and everybody's different. It's really a matter of preference. It's not a matter of what's better. It's a matter of what you like. So, there's these are the one I'm putting 9 gauge strings on here. These are probably 10s or 11s. So I noticed last night when I was playing and I was, going to do a bend, it was harder to do it. And not that it's hard to do, it was just harder to do it than I'm used to. So I just like the feel of an easier bend. Now, there's some guitar players that use 7 gauge strings, which are super light, which would be too much for me. So, but everybody's different. Like Yngwie Malmsteen, one of the greatest guitar players, he uses 7s. It's like not even touching anything. But that's his feel. That's what he likes. So it's not a matter of what's better. It's a matter of your preference and what you like when you're playing, what the feel you like. All right, so we got the Last string we're taking off. That's gone. All the strings are now gone. What happens if the strings are too thin? Nothing. It just means that they're easier to play. Some people just like the feel of a really thin string. Um, but to me, if they're too thin, I may have a little problem picking because they give a little bit more. But that's just me. That doesn't mean that it's right or wrong. It just means that that's the feel that I like. So to me, the 9-gauge strings are the best for me. You know, but a lot of people use 10s. In fact, pretty much every guitar I get has 10s on it. Very rarely do I ever get a guitar that has 9s on it, and these are 9-gauge strings. But like I said, it's preference. Yeah, I like to have a little bit of weight, but not too much. And with the whammy bar, if you're using the whammy bar a lot, it just makes it easier to use that because when you have a thicker string, you got more tension. You know. Yes, it does. It does change the sound a little bit. You're going to get, if you're having 10s and you're doing rhythm, you're going to get a more full sound if you're using 10s. The thicker the string, the more full of a sound you're going to have. Is anybody going to notice it? Probably not. Unless you're a player. Players have a different sound. So yeah, a thicker string is going to have a more fuller sound than a thinner string. But to me, it doesn't make much of a difference really. It's all about amplification too, and the pickups that you're using. So a lot of things depend on that. So now we got all the strings off. You'd be able to notice if you had a guitar with 10s on it and you started playing it, and then you picked up a guitar with 9s, you would be able to know the difference in feel. In sound, there is a difference. It's not much of a difference to me that it matters. um, to me, the 9s are the best. That's me. That's my go-to string. So now these frets here, these are like stainless steel frets, and that's the metal part right here. And they're a little dull, so whoever had the guitar, a lot of people, they just change the strings. When I change the strings, I use this 000 steel wool, and I buff these all out so they're all nice and shiny and there's no oils or anything on it. And then after I do that, I'll wipe it down and I'll put lemon oil on the wood part, which is going to treat the wood. It'll soak into the wood. It gives you, it's just a better sound. You get better sustain, and it just keeps the neck treated so that it's not drying up too much on you. So I'm going to start buffing these frets out. They're not bad, so it's not going to take long. It just makes them nice and smooth. Like I said, this process takes me about an hour. Not the neck, the whole thing from beginning to end. Once I get the neck finished like this, then I put the strings back on. And these frets aren't in bad shape at all. Whoever had it didn't really play it much, which is good. So these will be, this will clean up pretty quick. I know you probably can't see exactly what I'm doing, but if I get too close, then you won't be able to see me either. Maybe I should do that. Maybe I should push the table up so that you see the guitar better. You won't be able to see me. I don't know. What do you think, user? If you're enjoying it. This is a good distance? Okay, good. Then I'll just leave it the way it is. Appreciate that. So how you doing, user? What have you been up to? Yeah, these are cleaning up nice. Yes, I actually went to Dunkin' Donuts about a half hour ago. I actually still got my cup here, my iced coffee, which is done, finished. And of course, you know what happened to the bacon on my sandwich. It was stolen by Maggie, of course. Yeah, I gave her the bacon, and she's actually underneath the desk where the computer is. She's underneath the desk, all passed out. Yeah, she does. She's a good girl. I wanted to do this before I played on it, but last night, yeah, when the guitar came, I was just too excited, and so I just did a quick setup with the strings that were on it, and it sounded good. So I'm like, oh, I'm just gonna go with it for the night. Oh yeah, you were checking Maggie out yesterday. I gave her a bath yesterday too, and she loves the bath so much that all I have to do is slide the curtain in the shower. I open it, she walks right in. She absolutely loves getting the bath. Absolutely loves it, especially when she's itchy. If she's been scratching and chewing on herself, she can't wait to get into the shower because she gets relief. No, yesterday was pretty. It was pretty easy. I just got on my knees. The first time I did it, it was a little tough on my back, but yesterday it was pretty easy. I'm already halfway down the neck of buffing these frets out, so it's not going to take long. Yeah, they're cleaning up really nice. I left the live stream up yesterday of me playing. I only did two tunes. I jammed for a little bit. I did two songs and then I shut it down. Parents are doing good. In fact, I got to call my mom back. She called me last night, but I was busy, so I didn't get to call her back yet. So my parents are doing good. Yeah, only two songs because these strings, like I said, they were starting to hurt my fingers. I think they might even be 11 gauge strings on here. And if I would have played any more, I didn't want my fingers to get raw because I knew I was going to, after I set up the guitar with my strings, I was going to want to play. Yeah, so thicker strings will, and plus I haven't played in I don't know, how long has it been? I haven't had a guitar in about a month and a half. So that's another reason why they were hurting. And the strings weren't helping because they were thicker strings. So I stopped after two songs. I didn't want to overdo it. I just basically wanted to get the lead out a little bit, just get the lead out, and I enjoyed it. I enjoyed playing it. I have active pickups. I don't know if you know anything about guitars at all, but these are active pickups. So when I first plugged the guitar in, I wasn't getting much sound. The sound was cutting in and out. And that's because when you have active pickups, you have to have a 9-volt battery in the back to power them. And the battery was dead. Guitar Center. I got it at Guitar Center, and I think it was in Michigan or something. And they shipped it out. It only took 3 days to get here. I got it yesterday, so I wouldn't even have got it, but I was approved for a gift card, a credit. What was it? A gear card on Guitar Center. I was approved, and I didn't think I was going to get approved, and I was. Otherwise, I wouldn't even have this thing right now. So this is the Kirk Hammett signature guitar from Metallica. This is the guitar that he designed with ESP, I guess. I'm almost done with the neck. We're 3/4 of the way down. Yeah, it's cool. It's very cool. It's got the skull and crossbone inlays on the neck. It's pretty neat. I think that's pretty cool. It's funny. I was talking to my cousin this morning, and I was telling him. I said, "Yeah, I want to get the guitar done." I said, "But I'm being lazy about it." And he was like, "So just take it apart first, and then do the rest later." I said, "Nah. Once I take it apart, I want to finish it." It was just a matter of me motivating myself to do it, because it's really, to me, it's not just changing the strings. It's cleaning up the neck like I'm doing now. Yeah, once I start doing it, I want to get it finished, because then when I put the new strings on, I got to stretch them out, and I may have to adjust the bridge, because most of the time when you put a different gauge string on, you have to adjust the bridge because of the tension. The string tension is different. Yep, still doing Uber. It's actually getting busy. It's busier over here than it was where I was living before. So I'm making some better money. And as far as customers, it's hit or miss. It just depends. At 4 o'clock in the morning, 5 o'clock in the morning, sometimes you get people that don't want to talk at all. And I get that too. What made me have to move is my father. I love my dad, but he is very, very impossible to live with. He comes up with all these stupid rules. He's very jealous that my mother loves me, and I hate to talk bad about him. I know God doesn't say, we're supposed to honor our parents, and I do honor my father and mom, because my parents have definitely done things to help me, but my father's also done some bad things, and he's a narcissist, and he wants everything his way, and it's his way or the highway. Yeah, I don't even know what his past was. We don't. I don't have that kind of a relationship with him. I've always tried to be closer with him, but he's not. He's not like that. He's a narcissist, You know, I'll give you some things that he was when I moved there. I was there for a whole year. I actually lived in this area, and then I haven't talked to him in a long time. So when I did talk to them, you know, he says, you know, if you ever wanted to move out this way, come on out. So I did. I moved in with them, but every little thing he nitpicks on every little thing. He always has some chip on his shoulder. He's never always happy. And he's not always like that. It's like 50-50. You know, you never know you're going to get with him. You know, he's just, I don't know, very jealous of me. My mother, on the other hand, is an angel. She's a sweetheart, you know, and the whole time I was there, I would just pretty much put up with my father until it built up, and then I'd have an argument with him. So it was always back and forth of me trying to swallow all the stuff he wanted me to do, and just try to do the best. But after a while, it builds up, and I'm like, come on, man, Dad, you're just making shit up just to piss me off on purpose. You know, yeah, he's always been like that, and I think now he's getting worse. And I'll give you some for instances. We have two refrigerators in the house. He has the upstairs one in the kitchen, and then he has an extra refrigerator downstairs. There was nothing in it except for my 3 Gatorades. And he'd go down there and say, if you're not going to drink the Gatorades, I want them out of the refrigerator. I'm like, are you serious? I said, that's bothering you? So I had to take the Gatorades out and put them in my room because I wasn't drinking them right away. Um, Another one, uh, the microwave. He didn't like the way I was closing the door on the microwave, and then he says, "I want you to close the door like this," you know. And I'm like, "Okay, whatever." And he just keeps on making stuff up to piss me off. Meanwhile, like when I come in the house, my mom's like happy to see me, saying hello to Maggie, and my father just walks around with this pissed off look on his face. You know, oh, the dishes is another thing. I would do the dishes every day if he let me, but he won't. I turn the water on to let the water get hot. I'm wasting water. Get away. I'll do the dishes. He'll say, I'll do it. I'm like, Dad, I was just waiting for the water to get hot. Are you kidding me? Shit like that. And the worst one was with Maggie. Maggie, when she's sleeping, she can't hear very well because she's old. So I would tap the floor, and she'd feel that, and she would wake up. And my father had to have a plumber come in because he said I broke the pipes by tapping my foot on the floor. I broke the pipes just by tapping my foot. All the pipes broke in the house. And I said, Dad, you know what? You are ridiculous. You've had a plumbing problem here for 2 years. You're pouring grease into the toilet bowl instead of the sink. So everything was getting stopped up. Yeah. Yeah. He's like, he thinks by putting the grease in the toilet, it's going to stop the pipes from getting clogged up. The only difference is that instead of clogging up there, it's going to clog up in 2 spots. And so by tapping my foot on the floor, he said I ruined the pipes and he had to call in a plumber. And I said, you know what, Dad, you are ridiculous. You're absolutely ridiculous. I have a box in the backyard that's about this big with hubcaps in it. It bothers him. When are you going to get rid of that box? That box is really bothering me. I'm like, it's just a box, Dad. It's just a box. Are you kidding me? So that's the shit. You know, I'm like, I said, I can't believe that all this stupid shit gets you this upset when we can be enjoying ourselves. You know, we're supposed to love each other and enjoy our lives, but you can't do that with him. And my mother, on the other hand, is the complete opposite. You know, and because I'll take all of his shit, but it'll build up at a certain point, and then I don't take it no more. And I start arguing. I said, you know what, Dad? I'll never do. I'll never be good enough to do anything for you. Nothing that I do will ever be good enough for you. and you're never wrong about anything, you know. So, but I have to say, you know, when I moved out, I wasn't going to be a dick about it. I still, you know, still call there and, you know, I still want to talk to them and stuff like that. Now I'm free. And now, you know, I just got to keep my money flowing and do a good job, you know, and I can enjoy my freedom. Yeah, that'll never happen. That'll never happen. He he's not about apologizing for anything. Anything. He doesn't think that he's ever wrong about anything. It's just it's just he's just a narcissist. And he's off the boat of Italy too, so that doesn't make it any better. So now I got the frets polished. Uh, I'm like wiping them off with this paper towel just to get all the black stuff off of it before I put lemon oil on the neck. I don't know if you can see, but they're nice and shiny now. So now I got the lemon oil. I don't know why I'm shaking it. I get my paper towel. Um, Restoring guitars, no. There's a few things that I don't know that I have to learn before I can do everything. Like adjusting the neck. There's an adjustment like right here. There's a truss rod inside to adjust the neck if it's bowed a certain way, and I'm not too keen on that. But and it's how you look at the neck, and I'm not sure when I look at the neck what I'm looking at. So I would have to get somebody else. But I could tell when it's straight, like just playing it yesterday, that the neck is good. You know, there was no buzzing going on. So, and restoring guitars, I wouldn't want to restore. I like doing setups like this though. You know, I would do that for people. So this thing is clean. Now I'm gonna put on my lemon oil on the wood. Also, when I put the oil on the wood, it cleans up any oils, finger oils that were on there from before. I could do setups and cleanups and stuff like that, but like what I'm doing here, it would cost me $150 in a store to do it, and there ain't no way I'm paying that. So I know what I'm doing when I set it up when I set up the guitar. It's just it's too expensive. They're crazy with the prices now. Everything's gone up though, you know. Yeah, there's certain things that I don't know how, like fret filing and measuring stuff. I don't know all that, a lot of technical stuff. There's actually a place I was going to go that teaches you how to do all that stuff. And it was like a little master class, but I didn't have the money at the time to go do it. I think it was like $100 or something, and it would have been worth it too. You know, you bring your own guitar in, and they show you how to do all that stuff. I don't know if you could see how black that is. Look at the black. That's what I got off the neck. Yeah. And don't forget, I was using steel wool on the frets too, so that was kind of some filings that went on it, and that's why I go over it twice. Like right now, I just put the lemon oil on it, and I'm gonna wipe it all off. I'm gonna wipe it all off to get more of the grime off of it. See, that's I just wiped it again. I don't know if you can see it. Yeah, more black. So that's why I wipe it off again. This is really the tedious part, but it's easy. You know, it's not hard to do. See, it's black still. Black. I just did it again. And I'm going to wipe it again. And after I get done wiping it again, I'm going to put the lemon oil on the neck again and then leave it. This is what Guitar Center should have did before they sent the guitar out. I thought the guitar was going to be damaged when it got here because the box was like really crushed on the one end of the bottom of the whole guitar, the guitar box. It was crushed, but it didn't get to the guitar. So that's again, but I got most of it off. Yeah, yeah, I would have got my money back. Totally. So now, if you look at it, I don't know if you can see the difference. It's hard to see probably with the camera. Yeah, it's nice and shiny. And now I'm going to take a nice clean paper towel and put lemon oil on the neck. Just put a nice coat on it. And the neck is finished. This way it'll all soak into the wood now. This is a rosewood neck. Yeah, I did an audio thing on the Bible the other night. I haven't been reading, but I've been watching a lot of videos and learning different parts of the Ethiopian Bible. The stream is cut off. Shouldn't be. Oh, okay. Wow. See, I just put it on again and it was still black. Yeah, it is a good experience. It's a very good experience. It shows us what we focus on. You know, we don't focus on God. You know, and we need to appreciate God because we wouldn't even be here if you believe, you know. And like I said, I don't ever put anybody else's beliefs down. There are people that don't believe in God, and Like somebody came to my channel that knows me. He's also a singer and he preaches. And he came to my channel telling me, well, what I played about Revelation is completely wrong. And it wasn't because now there's new studies about the Revelation, so that they're trying to throw the old studies away. And this guy came to my channel and he goes, "You're preaching false documents." And I'm like, "What do you mean I'm preaching? First of all, I'm not a preacher. Second of all, you came to my channel. I don't question what you do and what you're preaching. Whatever you want to preach is fine. Who am I to say that you're right or wrong? But who are you to tell me that I'm wrong? And I don't even feel like I'm right or wrong. But you come into my channel and put in a comment, and then I said, you know what? I really don't need you coming to my channel telling me what I'm doing is wrong. And then he said, "Wow, I didn't expect you to attack me like that." Attack you? You came to my channel. I didn't come to your channel. You came to my channel telling me what I'm doing isn't biblical. And I'm like, okay, yeah. It's just and at the same time, it's like I wasn't bothering you. I could have went to his channel and did something and said something, and I didn't. You know, I don't put anybody's thoughts down. If people want to come and talk about God and tell me what they feel, I respect that, and that's what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to respect each other. That I respect atheists that don't believe in God. I respect that. I'm not going to say that you're wrong for thinking that because in reality, who knows? Nobody knows. You know, um, but I choose to believe, and that doesn't make it wrong for somebody not to believe, because that would make me, who am I to judge? Yeah, yeah. And I asked him too. I said, "What Bible are you reading?" He goes, "The same Bible you're reading." All right, well, tell me what I'm reading. What do you read? And he couldn't even answer that. So, and he's also a singer. I don't put people's beliefs down. Even if I believe a certain way, who am I to say that somebody's wrong? You know, because nobody knows for sure. I mean, unless God comes back and says, "Hey, this is the deal." All right. So now the guitar neck is finished. It is finished. And it's not like he didn't have a point, because now what they're trying to say, and this is a new thing that's out. They're trying to say that Revelation already happened, that Jesus already came back, and all that stuff. And there's no proof of it. It's just something that people are starting to believe now. But that doesn't make it right or wrong. And it doesn't make you have come to my channel telling me I'm wrong all of a sudden. This is he could have said, "Hey, Frank, there's a new way of thinking. Check it out." He didn't say that. He said, "What I'm doing is wrong." You know what? I don't feel like what I was doing was wrong, even if I am wrong. I'm trying to help bring people and myself closer to God, not just other people, but myself as well, because I'm not perfect, and I try to do it in a way where it's not controlling. It's not saying this is my way and this is the way it is, and because I'm still learning as well, and that's what we all should be doing. But we should all be on the same page if we're preaching to the same God, you know. Yeah. So the neck is done. Now this is how it looks with the oil on it. I don't know if you could tell. It still looks the same on the camera, but it's finished. So now I got to restring it. Yeah, the worst is over. Now the only thing I have to deal with is when I put the strings on, this bridge has to be level, and I may have to adjust the screws back here. So if the bridge has to be level with the guitar, and sometimes when you put new strings on it, it's either high or low, and there's screws in the back to turn that to make it level again. That's the only tricky part, and that's why they charge so much money when you have a locking tremolo system, which is called a Floyd Rose. And that's why a lot of people don't like these, because they have to, kind of fiddle with it a little bit. But if you're going to use the whammy bar a lot, you want something that's going to stay in perfect tune. So that's why I like the Floyd Rose bridge. A lot of people, if they buy a guitar with the Floyd Rose, they don't even use it, and they'll put a block in it so you can't use it at all. But I'm a whammy bar guy. I like to bend the strings and do all sorts of stuff with it. So this is definitely one of the best bridges to have. Yeah, see, the wood is soaking up the oil. It's already starting to dry up. I may even wait a few minutes and put another coat on it, because you don't want the frets to be dry all the time. And most people, when they change their strings, they just change strings. They don't, treat the neck. So sometimes when you put oil on it, it gets soaked up quick, and then you put it on again and it stays nice. I'm just going to hang out for a few minutes before I start stringing it up. That gives me a chance to grab my clean in between the pickups a little bit. Well, let me get my cleaner too. And this is what I used to clean my guitar with. Meguiar's car polish. It's actually car wax. A lot of people say, using car wax on a guitar? I'm like, yep, because it has clear coat. It's got a clear coat finish on it, just like a car does. Clean these pickups. I like to get all the stuff in between, because once I get the strings on, you can't really get in there. I don't know how long we've been going. It's got one chip on it over here on the side, but I don't care. Plays amazing. Still looks nice. It's in great condition. All right. I'm just waiting for the neck to see if it's gonna dry up anymore, but I think it's good. I think anything else is just gonna, that doesn't need any more oil. So I'm gonna throw away these old strings and my paper towels that I used. I'll be right back. You'll still be able to hear me. You just can't see me because my garbage is in here. Oh, I need a garbage bag in the kitchen here. Sure you could still hear me. Put this back in here. I'm glad you came in. It's cool that somebody actually coming in, checking it out. All right, throw the garbage away. That's good. Grab myself a bottle of water. All right. All right. All right, I think I'm gonna start to put the strings on. Nice cold water. Now I'm gonna pour the water all over the neck. No, I'm kidding. All right. Oh, you know, I wanted to clean the headstock on the guitar in between where all the strings will go, because you can't really get in there when the strings are on it. It'll take me 2 seconds. It's not really dirty anyway. All right. We're ready for the restring. Put a polish over here. So we got our Allen key. Got a pack of new strings. Hey, what's up, Droofy? Good to see you. I think I'm going to put the air back on. It's getting a little warm in here. Hold on, guys. Hold on, hold on. All right. Good to see you, Droofy. How you doing, brother? Zavika 3079. Good morning. What's my favorite guitar? I would have to say a USA Jackson Soloist. Those are my favorite guitars. But I have many. I also love Les Pauls too. This is an ESP. This plays just like a Jackson, so it suits me fine. But I can't afford a USA Jackson. They're like $4,000. I've had them before. I've had many of them. So we got our first E string, and they come with a little ball on the end, which for a Floyd Rose you don't need. So we're going to cut that off. Cut that tip off. And now we're going to put this string inside the bridge where it goes and tighten this screw up, which will clamp the string down. And when you have a Floyd Rose, you can't over tighten these things. They got to be tight, but if you over tighten them, you'll strip them out. So you don't want to ever over tighten it. Yeah, this is the ESP KH602. KH stands for Kirk Hammett. This is the Kirk Hammett um, model guitar that he designed for ESP. Kirk Hammett is the guitar player for Metallica. I don't know if it's supposed to be. Yeah, this would be right under here. All right. Yeah, I got the whammy bar right here. Yeah, ESP is great guitar. I've had many of them. You know, this is 1,500 bucks new. I got it used for like 750. So we got the first E string in. It's nice and tight in the bridge, and now it's up here. I gotta wind it. I got my string winder. And we're gonna wind it up. I always like to have tension on the string when I'm winding it. Okay. So that's on. First string is on. Yeah, string winders are the best. It's our E string. And our second string. Which is our A string. Gonna stick that in the bridge. Tighten you up. Okay, our A string is going in. See if it's gonna have to go in here. Or does it need to go under here next to the E string? Get in there, baby. Yeah, it's gotta go in there. It's gotta go right in there. What's up, Angel? And Sunfim, what's up? Drink my water. I'll drink my water. What's going on, Angel? All right, we got that. We're ready to start winding this baby. All right. String number 2 is in. The A string is in. Now it's time for the D. Okay, we got that locked in. Put the mask on. Not while I'm working on the guitar, I'm not. You see it back there? I'll put it on later. String number 3. Bend that up. All right. Three strings down, 3 more to go. Where's my other one? That fall on the floor. Up there it is. And now the G string. The G. Clip that off. Yeah, the bridge nuts control the height of the action of the guitar. What's up, Blair? I don't really care about the subs. I don't even focus on that. I used to be cranky. All right. String number 4 going in. Let's wind this baby up. Where's my winder? Here it is. Okay, pull this. No, we didn't want that to happen. I want to wind it up a little more. There we go. Okay. String number 4 is in. That's our G string. G is in granola bar. And now we're going to put the B in. Okay. All right. Slide this baby in. All right. If a string breaks while I'm doing this, which shouldn't happen, I got 2 more packs of strings. I always make sure I have extra strings just in case. You never know. I'm getting blind at my old age here. There we go. It's in the hole. That's what she said. Okay. The old string winder. Got that up. Yeah, these strings are going to be good. I can feel the difference already from last night. There had to be 11s on here last night when I was playing. Oh, yeah, man. These are like slinky. Okay, one more string to go. Clip that end off. Okay, that's locked in. Slide this right in the hole. Where was the friggin' hole? Yeah, that's the hardest part is finding a fucking hole here for the E string. There we go. We got it in. Okay. Now wind this baby up. String winder here. It's going. Oh, son of a bitch. I was afraid of that. That does happen sometimes. Sometimes I'm afraid to tighten that thing up so much. I didn't tighten it up enough, so I gotta unstring it. That does happen. See, with these bridges, these Floyd Rose bridges, you can't over tighten them or you'll strip them out. And sometimes I don't tighten it enough. And that was the issue. So it popped out. But that's okay. I'm just gonna loosen it up and tighten it up again. That's weird. It's not grabbing. That's not good. I didn't go deep enough with it, that's why. Now it should work. Come on, baby. It's in there now, baby. All right. Let's wind it up again. All right. I don't like that. I'm going to do that again. Okay. That should be good. There we go. All right, all the strings are on. So now I still have my battery under the bridge. Now I'm going to tune the strings to 440 tuning. So now I have the strings pretty much I use well, let me look it up real quick again. It's called Six String Online Guitar Tuning, but I use 440. So what I usually do is I type in 440 guitar tuning because that's what I tune my guitars to. I'll show it to you. That's what it looks like. Let me go back to my channel. Turn the volume down. Yeah, that's what I use. And now what I'm going to do is I have a battery under the bridge that was keeping it level, so I'm going to pull that out and see where our bridge is. See, now our bridge is hanging down when I take it off. That's where it gets tricky. So I'm going to go back to the tuning. So now that the bridge is hanging low in tune, I have to adjust the truss rod, not the truss rod, but the springs. So I'm gonna give them a loosen. Loosen them up to bring the bridge up. You got to do a little bit at a time. I'm gonna have to bring it up quite a bit. Hang with me, guys. And we're gonna lower it a little more. So this is the tedious part, is getting the bridge going when you have different gauge strings. Is getting the bridge level. Still gotta raise it. You gotta make sure when you do raising it that you don't turn one screw more than the other. It's getting there. Still need to lift it up more. So I'm loosening this screws where the springs are to bring the front of the bridge back up. One turn at a time, and every time you do that, got to retune it. It's on its way up. Still got more to go. Still got more to go. You guys still with me? A little more, a little more. So now we got it tuned again. And the bridge is almost straight. We still got to raise it up a little more and then tune it up again. And now tune it again. It's almost there, guys. Almost there. Still got to go up a little bit more. Not much more, though. It's almost flush. A little bit more. Still down a little bit. Hate these commercials. Ah, looks good. It looks pretty close to me. Now, if I was using the same gauge string, it would have been perfect. But since I'm changing the gauge strings, that changes the spring tension in the back. So you have string tension, and then you have spring tension. So by having 10 or 11 gauge strings, you got more tension. So you have to relieve that when you put on lighter gauge strings. It raised the bridge, and then you loosen those screws, and it brings the bridge back down. Now, if I was to tighten the screws, it would raise it. And I got it just about perfect. Maybe like a half a turn on each screw. And that should be it. Yeah, but when you're changing the gauge strings, you gotta abide for that. With the Floyd Rose, anyway. If it was a regular bridge, it wouldn't make a difference. That Floyd Rose is pretty much flush with it. And that's why a lot of people don't like Floyd's, because they don't like messing with it. But it just, it just takes a little bit of finesse, and that's why they charge $150 to set them up. But I knew a guy before I knew how to do it. He'd have it done in like 5 minutes. He was like quick. He'd be boom, 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 and it's really pretty simple. So now the bridge is flush with the wood. It's floating because it's a floating bridge, and it's pretty straight. I can't get it much straighter than that. Maybe a quarter of a turn down a little bit. Yeah, that's perfect. That's it. She's ready to rock. Now it's time to stretch the strings. Basically, I just pull up on them like this. I pull up on it and shake them like this and go all the way down the neck. I think that's about it. So she's all tuned up. Now, what I'll do is I'll play on it for a while before I put the locking tuners back on, because I'll, bend the strings up, and just to make sure I don't need to have to do any more adjustments to the bridge. But I think it's pretty ready to go. Yeah, if I was using the same gauge string, I wouldn't have had to do all the adjustment. I'm thinking there were 11s on there. They were so tight, but these feel really good. I'm happy with it. And I'll be able to play a lot better on it than I did last night. Because last night I was kind of fighting with bending the strings. It was so tight. It's good. And I'll have to give it a haircut, cut the whiskers off. I'll do that later. But yeah, it's finished. It is finished. I knew that, bro. I was going along with you. I knew that. It's funny. I was talking to my friend Tom. He goes, "I don't know about that guy." I said, Blair was just messing with me. and I was just playing along. He goes, I don't know about that guy, what you're playing. I said, no, he liked it. I said, Blair likes to mess with me a little bit. And I was just going along with it. That's why I was like, man, sorry I couldn't play good. But as you could see, I didn't get mad because I knew. I totally knew. Uh, Trust me, if I was mad at you, you would know. If I thought you were serious, I would have said something. I knew you were messing with me. And you can always do that. You're a good guy, Blair. I know you. I told him that. I said Blair's a good guy, a great musician. I said he's just messing with me. I'm glad I got it done. The hardest part of doing this is getting myself motivated to do it. That's the hardest part because I'm like, oh, I got to take it apart because I clean the neck, I buff the frets, and then I got to mess with the bridge. Once I get that bridge straight, it's all good. You too, Blair. Yeah, I'm gonna shut it down now and put all this stuff away and maybe relax and watch a movie and then come back and play it. Let it sit on the stand for a while. And thank you everybody who came in and was checking it out. But this thing is ready to rock. I'm gonna plug it in later and jam with it and bend up the strings a little bit more. But and then I can put the back plate on and be done with it. Have a good day, everybody. And we will talk to you guys soon. Peace out. Maybe I'll do a live later. Thanks for coming, everyone.